Gigi Sukin with Colorado Biz Magazine. We are at UMB Bank today, and we get to spend some time with Casey Mathews. He's the Chief Investment Officer at UMB. And I was going to ask about consumer confidence. How do you gauge that right now at this point in time and looking forward to the rest of the year, how that's being impacted by some of the factors you've mentioned?
Right, consumer confidence gives us a lot of confidence that we'll see a very robust second half of the year as far as economic activity here in the U.S. What we like to look at is not only how does the consumer feel about things, consumer confidence, and there are plenty of surveys out there that are heading in the right direction. Consumer confidence trends have been up in the last 5 years, and then with oil prices coming down, interest rates remaining low, that's all beneficial for the consumer. But we also want to see how small business feels about things. And there are other surveys that look at the small business owner. And those index small business optimism are again at levels that we haven't seen since prior to the Great Recession in 2008 and 2009. So the consumer feels good about things, small business owners feel about good things, and I do believe that will give you something close to 3% real GDP in the second half of 2015.
Wonderful. Anything else to be looking forward to in the rest of this year?
Well, Gigi, there are always all kinds of wild cards out there. Of course, we have to be watching Europe and Greece. It looks like they're developing a plan. It's not quite done yet, but it appears they're going to kick the can down the road. They'll get some type of credit deal. The European leaders will agree to some type of agreement, and that will allow the IMF to continue to lend money to Greece. And we're kind of kicking the can down the road, and perhaps we'll have the same conversation in 2 or 3 years. But that will be good for Europe and their economy, and grow nicely as they see some type of economic stimulus, monetary stimulus, that the ECB President Draghi is doing right now with quantitative easing. The other wild card is going to be China. China is not growing as fast as it once was. It seems to be slowing quite faster than perhaps many officials seem to identify that it's the rate it's growing at. But the data we look at, when you look at rail car volumes, automobile sales, electricity consumption, clearly China's not growing at 7%. It's growing at a rate less than 7. The question will be, is it 6 or is it 3? And that's where the jury's still out. But that will have an impact on the global economy and the U.S. economy as well. We're in the camp that we don't see China causing any type of recession or disruption to that close to 3% GDP here in the United States in the second half of 2015.
As you are visiting Colorado, and we have lots of cranes floating about in our midst, any evaluations that you have on this particular marketplace that you could share with us?
Well, Colorado's in a great position. When you look at their unemployment rate, it's lower than a national average. When you look at housing prices, it's growing faster than national average. That's good for the current homeowners, not so much for the new home buyer or the young families getting into their first home. But things look very good. The population growth is very strong, perhaps because you have 300 days of sunshine and all your outdoor activities. But Colorado is in a very, very good position right now. A lot of job growth. It's going to attract population to it. And I think you're going to have really nice economic activity throughout the year and really into the future, given the attributes I just mentioned.
So with all of the positive elements that you've mentioned, how does that impact my money or our viewers' money?
Right. What does it mean to the financial markets, right? Yeah. Everyone wants to know that. Well, we created a formula for our forecast, and that is 2 by 4 equals 8. Meaning, I think we still can get 2% revenue growth, even though we had a soft second quarter. And I think if we get 2% revenue growth, we can get to 4% earnings growth for the entire year. And that's through organic growth, share repurchases, things like that. And if we get 4% earnings growth, I believe we can get 8% returns in the stock market. Now, if you think about it, if you go year to date through June 30, the first 6 months, the market was only up 1.5% off the top of my head. So we got a ways to go. But if you go through July 31st, we were up something like 3.5%. So if you extrapolate that out, Could we see something like 3 to 4% returns in the second half with better economic activity, as I mentioned? I think we can get there and hit our low end of our range at 8% returns in the stock market.
Casey, thank you so much for your time. This has been wonderful. We really appreciate it.
Good seeing you again. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.